Saluton from BA. This is a Rorschach Multilateral update from the 9th of July 2024. A summary of what's going down in the world's major multilateral institutions. There will be a NATO summit in Washington this week. On Friday the 5th, a United States official said that the conference included plans for NATO allies to present a pathway for Ukraine's membership. The official said that NATO will unveil significant new support measures. President Joe Biden, who faces re-election challenges after a poor debate with Donald Trump, will host the leaders of NATO's 32 members and hold a rare solo news conference. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, previously unsuccessful in securing a NATO invitation, expects this year's summit to address Kiev's membership. Also concerning Ukraine, on Wednesday the 3rd, Denis Francis, the UN General Assembly President, said that the organization will continue to support the country's territorial integrity and sovereignty, regardless of the outcomes of the elections in the US and key European Union countries, whose support has been essential for Ukraine's defense. Specifically, as conservative political movements have gained ground in some countries that have been essential in aiding Ukraine, new elections this year could change the map of support for Ukraine, either bringing about a reduction in aid in some countries or ending it altogether. During his first visit to Ukraine amid its ongoing conflict with Russia, Francis stressed that international law forbids any country from invading another. Speaking of Russia, the country has faced new blowbacks. During its 31st annual session in Bucharest, which ran from Saturday the 29th of June until Wednesday the 3rd of July, the Organization for Security and Cooperation in the European Parliamentary Assembly urged Russia to withdraw immediately and unconditionally from Georgia's territories, South Ossetia and Abkhazia. The Bucharest Declaration, adopted at the session, reinforced the call for Russia to adhere to the European Union-mediated ceasefire agreement in 2008, which called for the Russian military to pull back and give up the territory that they took. In other news, after the recent British election, relations between the UK and Europe may change. Keir Starmer, the newly elected Prime Minister of the UK, said he has plans to enhance trade, research and defence ties with the EU. He said that these talks have already started, coinciding with his top diplomats' inaugural foreign visit to Germany, Poland and Sweden. Tensions between the UK and EU mounted in a surprising turn of events after a referendum for the UK's exit from the EU, Brexit, was successful in 2016. Next up, on Wednesday the 26th of June, the International Criminal Court trial convicted al-Hassan, a Malian Islamist militant, for war crimes and crimes against humanity committed in Timbuktu between April 2012 and January 2013. On to Africa, from Tuesday the 2nd until Friday the 5th, the African Union hosted a conference in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia's capital, with government ministers, education experts, and civil society representatives to accelerate progress on girls' and women's education in the continent. The African Union outlined specific goals, including building up the physical infrastructure to foster education, strengthening math curricula, promoting peace and conflict prevention, and creating strong literacy campaigns. Since we mentioned Ethiopia, according to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's announcement on Thursday the 4th, the country might receive almost $11 billion in support over the next years if the negotiations with the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, and World Bank are successful. Ethiopia, grappling with high inflation and chronic foreign currency shortages, defaulted on its debt in December. The country seeks about $3.5 billion in borrowing under an IMF reform program, while also aiming for a similar amount in budgetary aid from the World Bank. Additionally, it aims to secure another $3.5 billion through debt restructuring. Analysts suggest Ethiopia might need to agree to devalue its currency to meet IMF conditions for financial support. Also in Africa, on Sunday the 7th, Nigeria's President Tinubu was re-elected for another one-year term as chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS. Tinubu, who first took office in May 2023, was reappointed at the 65th Ordinary Session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government at the Presidential Villa in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. In his acceptance speech, Tinubu emphasized his commitment to strengthening democracy. In his opening remarks at the summit, he called on ECOWAS member countries to contribute financially to the fight against regional terrorism. Now, some updates on international law. The International Court of Justice, or ICJ, announced on Wednesday the 3rd that several European nations have been authorized to participate in Gambia's case against Myanmar for genocide. Gambia filed the case in 2017, accusing the country of committing genocide against the Rohingya, a minority Muslim group. A UN investigation found evidence of genocidal acts during Myanmar's military campaign in 2017, which displaced more than 700,000 Rohingya people to Bangladesh. Myanmar denies the allegations, saying its actions targeted Rohingya insurgents in response to attacks. Despite Myanmar's objections, the ICJ ruled in July 2022 to proceed with the genocide case, although a trial date has not been yet set. Moving on Monday the 1st, the United Nations Environment Programme, or UNEP, and Brazil signed an agreement to deepen collaboration on climate change, biodiversity conservation, and waste management issues. Marina Silva, the Minister of the Environment and Climate Change, oversaw the signing ceremony, which coincided with the inaugural official visit to Brazil by Inger Andersen, UNEP's executive director. This milestone underscores commitment to ensuring a balanced approach that promotes both societal equality and environmental sustainability. The partnership aims to advance Brazil's climate change plans by creating country-wide strategies that focus on protecting specific ocean areas under threat, including reducing the negative impact of plastic pollution. Key projects include a more environmentally conscious economy and funding for conservation efforts. Additionally, the agreement encourages cooperation in improving air quality and managing pollutants like methane and black carbon. On another note, on Wednesday the 3rd, the head of a UN office in Haiti and other officials emphasized the urgent need for funding to bolster the multinational mission aiding the Haitian National Police against gang activities. The UN office head made the comments during a UN Security Council session addressing the political and safety crisis in Haiti. Gang violence has been a persistent issue in Haiti for years, and perpetual poverty, partly stemming from the earthquakes of 2010 and 2021, has also been a pervasive issue that has prompted the international community to deliver aid. However, despite the aid and efforts of the United Nations Security Council, armed militias and gangs still pose violent threats to the population and prevent adequate governance. And to close this edition, on Sunday the 7th, the World Health Organization, or WHO, said that artificial intelligence can revolutionize global health by enhancing disease prediction, personalizing treatments, aiding medical imaging interpretation, educating patients, and improving medication adherence. Earlier this year, the WHO emphasized the promise of artificial intelligence's benefits to society in drug development, diagnosis, treatment, and patient care, aiming to improve healthcare accessibility, address workforce shortages, and reduce costs. And that's it for this week. Thank you for joining us. As you must know by now, we do not only make podcasts, but also other cool projects. Right now, Rorschach is developing a new app designed to help you make decisions within a group of people. Would you be interested in giving it a try? If so, please email us at info@rorschach.com. We'll give you early access to the beta version as soon as it's ready and the chance to help us improve it. See you next week!